Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. I'm here in my workshop today. It's January 24th, and we're going to do a update on how our propagations are doing. So let's take a look. Now, these are some of our earlier propagations here. Well, I say our mid to later ones maybe. This was 113, so it's been almost 10 days, 9 days ago. I do see on this one a bud is swelling, but I don't see roots on any of these yet. Like I say, I do see the bud swelling on that one. As you can see, there's plenty of humidity in there. You can see the moisture on the top. Now, these are moist to the touch. They're a little bit moist. What I have been doing is, as I go day by day, and if I see too much moisture, and it's getting about right, but when it really draws a lot of moisture, especially on different ones, the figs, maybe it'll take a little bit more, but like my apples or my pears or whatever, they might not take as much humidity. Now, I just put these pears in today. I've got eight plants here. These are Bartlett pears. That I took cuttings from one of my trees. Now I do have another one of these that's branching out here. We'll have to see which variety it is. Okay, this is one of the SFA or Stephen F. Austin varieties. That is, the bud is opening up. So anyway, this one is the one that's got climate controlled. It's set at about 77. Now the others are just on a heat mat, and they could be closer to 80, 85. It varies. But you can see that a lot of moisture does form on the tops of these, and it's actually enough that it'll actually drip off quite a bit. And when it's real heavy, when I take it off and it's real heavy with moisture, this one is pretty good, or pretty heavy, but it's not all that bad. But I have dried it off a few times, and if it seems like it's too much, I'll take it out. But I kind of feel my cuttings, I feel the soil, and I make sure it's not too moist. If it's too moist, then what's going to happen is you're going to encourage rot, plus you're going to encourage fungal or mold growth and stuff. I want it to be moist, but I don't want it to be too moist. But it's going to be a while. You know, these were the 18th, I think, is the date on most of these. We'd put these in here. Now they haven't had heat quite as long. I ordered a couple of more heat pads, and I got heat on these. They were propagated probably 2-3 days or so before. Now I do have another one over here, and this one is I put it to where it does get some evening sun to heat it up a little bit and draw the moisture up. But as you can see, because it doesn't have the heat pad, there is no moisture, very little moisture everywhere. So and the whole idea is to keep your cutting moist, but as long as the moisture stays in here and my media is moist but not wet around the cutting, these should go ahead and do fine. But anyway, let's go out and let's see what the ones in the greenhouse look like. Yeah, I had a wonderful snack on the way to the greenhouse. One of those nice plump fresh strawberries my wife picked this morning. That's nothing like something like that in the middle of the winter time. But anyway, we've got them all here on the floor. Of course, if you watched my update, you'd know that. They're on the ground. Now, I have some that are starting to open up in bud. Now, I looked at this earlier. This is a brown turkey. Let me see if I dated this, which I didn't, but I think I got a date on one of these. Let's see. Okay, this was, looks like, okay, these were 1220. So these have been a little over a month that they've been sitting here. And we're going to take and look at one of these and see how the roots are doing. All right, let's take a look at this. I can already see a little bit of root at the bottom down here coming out. Well, there went my tag, but you can see just, I think it looks like a little bit of root coming out there, and I think I see a little bit over on this side coming out. So this is rooting in, and the reason why I'm doing this is a lot of times whenever people do these YouTube videos on propagation, they don't have any follow-up, and my whole intent is to do this in a way that there is some follow-up, so you can see how this does, not just that somebody's doing what they've seen somebody else do. Now I can actually see the roots. I'm sure this has got some, they just haven't made it out. Now this is moist. This is moist, but it isn't sopping wet. I haven't watered these ones in a while because of the amount of moisture. Now we have some of my variety that I don't know, and let's see if we can see anything on this. I might see a little bit, but it doesn't appear that there's a lot out to the edge on that one. This, we'll check the one next to it just to check another one of this variety. And I don't see any there, but you can see this dirt is just crumbling just a little bit. And you can see also, like on this one, it's a little bit away from the edge, so it's drying out. Now I'm going to turn this one over. One reason is because it is drying out. A lot of times it's not dry. I mean, it's moist, but and there's moss growing on top of this, or algae. But we're not going to worry about that moss on there and stuff. A lot of people worry about it. It's out here in a humid condition, so that's going to be normal. Now I'm not going to check any more of these ones here. These were started the 10th. We're going to give them about a month or so. See how they go. I'm sure they're not coming out yet. We have our others here. These are peaches. We're going to leave these for a while longer too. It's not been that long. It's been the 9th whenever they's put in there. Normally we're going to say about 3 weeks to a month for roots to start. So anyway, but we're going to take a look down here. We're going to look at our elderberries down here. Now I have a few bigger ones, and some of them are starting to sprout, but I don't know, we're not getting any roots out to the edge yet. This is a big pot and it's going to take a while. Now I can tell by the weight that there's moisture in there, so I'm not worried about keeping that. Now I didn't cover the tops of these. Elderberries are they're really a softwood cutting, in my opinion. Now what we have here is we have two varieties that have been or two different methods that we've used to propagate these. Now this one's coming out by the bottom. These are the elderberries. This is a wildwood. Now what I'm going to do is pull this out from here, and we're going to see if we can see anything. These are the ones that were, if you go back to my things, I had some that I had put directly into the soil, and some that I had put into water first to get the roots to root. Now these were put in the water, and when they started forming the little nodules like they were going to root, I went ahead and potted them up. Now these other ones that are over here, and just for the sake of science, we're going to break out a wildwood so we can look. Now these cuttings were all taken at the same time, but these ones were put directly into the soil. So let's see if we can see any roots on them. Like I say, you've got to have scientifically, you've got to have something that's the same. Now, you see how much difference it made going directly into the soil. We have roots coming out. These were all taken the same time. These others of that variety were, like I say, put into water, but these went straight into soil. So we can tell by this experiment that when you go directly to the soil with elderberries, you're going to end up with faster roots. Now I did put on a rooting hormone on both of these when I planted them. I didn't use my new method of shaving down the sides, so these are primarily going to put out roots wherever there were leaf nodes or out the bottom of the cutting itself. But you can tell these are doing good. Now I have some other cuttings over here. This is plum cutting. Now I had some that were small that I had picked. Now let me see if I got the date on here is 12/26. So these have been almost a month. Let's see what these look like. Right now we have no sign. Now this does feel a little bit dry, so I'm going to go ahead and give these some moisture today. But like I say, you don't want to give too much moisture. You want them to stay fairly dry. That encourages them to seek out moisture and pop those roots out there. Anybody that's been doing this for a long time, they'll realize that. See what else I got here. These were planted a little bit later. This is my root stock, and I think this was the one that we did the. This is the one that we did the experiment on, the different ways of propagating. I believe I'll have to go back and look at the video. But anyway, like I say, I'm going to continue this all the way through. I don't want it to be guesswork. Like I say, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, and we'll see where somebody propagates and they use the same methods as others. Some will give you a little information down the road, but they really don't show you the progress. And I don't want to do that. I want you to feel secure, so whenever you start trying to start propagating, you'll know which stages. And like I say, I'm only doing a few varieties. So as far as I'm doing a bunch of fruit varieties, but I'm just doing 3 elderberry varieties. I'm doing plums, peaches, several fig varieties, and 3 or 4 apple varieties, and then I've got a pear variety. And we'll see each stage, and then you can go back and look at these videos. So if you're going to propagate, you'll know how long, because we're doing all these with hardwood cuttings, except for, like I say, the elderberries, because these are really these were cut green. They still had leaves on them. These weren't. They were new growth. So anyway, I hope this video is helpful for you. If you're not subscribed, we'll hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, so you'll be notified, and give it a big thumbs up and share it. It really helps my channel. Happy gardening.